If you ever see me on the street and you ask me, what's your favorite video game? I'll probably have a pretty standard and fairly generic list that's just on the tip of my tongue. But when I really have a chance to think about it and maybe pore over some old games in my collection, I start getting inventive, and my list of favorite games gets longer and more interesting. Photograph Boy for the PC Engine is a game that I don't think about terribly often. It's totally obscure, especially here in the States where the TurboGrafx was ridiculously underappreciated. But every time I think about it, I want to play it. And every time I play it, its addictive nature takes over, and I'm unable to give up until I've beaten the very last stage. Its gameplay feels as classic as something along the lines of, say, Pac-Man. But unlike Pac-Man, Photograph Boy's gameplay has never been duplicated. Or so I thought. While doing research for this review, I stumbled upon a PlayStation re-release of this game and a PlayStation 2 sequel, neither of which ever made it here to the West. But have no fear, eBay has been notified and I will be submitting my full report to you via Without Parole Games upon delivery and complete inspection. But as far as the original Photograph Boy, I learned something about that today too. Since all the story is in Japanese, for the last 15 years I've been playing this goofy game without knowing its dark premise. So here it is. David Goldman is an amateur photographer who always loved to take pictures. One day, he went to Los Angeles Photography School to study more about taking pictures. Every day, David commutes on the crowded trains and studies at the academy so he can achieve his dreams of becoming the best photographer he's ever dreamed to be. He was happy at that time, but suddenly, misfortune hit him. David's parents suddenly died in a plane crash, leaving him orphaned and all alone. He loved his parents deeply and cried at their burial, wishing that they would come back. David lost his confidence and was about to leave the academy to live a lonely and sad life. However, Dean, the principal at the academy, saw him and made an unexpected proposal to him. The principal said that if he completed 8 tests by taking 8 special photograph shots in 8 different locations, then he's allowed to graduate at the academy. Unsure about this offer, David accepted the test and did everything he could to pass. Now, regardless of whether you understood the story or not, the gameplay is the same. Controlling David is actually pretty simple, although it may take some time to get used to. You move left and right, you jump with one button, you take photographs with the other. All the while, when you're pushing left, right, up, or down, you're also moving a box around the screen that you use to snap pictures. Flashing red objects will hurt you, so you can either move out of their way or take a picture of them to make them disappear. If you get hit, you'll lose rolls of film and you'll be stunned momentarily, both of which are detrimental to meeting the level's quota. It seems impossibly hard at first to keep David out of danger and accomplish your mission of taking interesting photographs at the same time. But once you master the mechanics, it turns out to be ridiculously fun. Memorization is also key here. In every level, random events will happen. You'll see UFOs, the DeLorean from Back to the Future, mermaids, and all sorts of other oddities like Spider-Man. Remembering where they are will help you rack up a high score and gain more film for the level. Some levels seem staggeringly difficult until you discover their secrets. Graphically, I couldn't ask for a more perfect game on the old PC Engine. Bright and cartoon-like, every new level brings a new location with new sets of challenges. And with so much animation and constant action in both the foreground and the background, the vibrant environments never come at a cost. The frame rate is steady, and that's super important in a twitchy action game like this. Oddly, there are no bosses in Photograph Boy, and if I brainstormed for even just a few minutes, I could easily come up with cool ways to incorporate photography into level and boss fights. Imagine this game shifting into first-person perspective as you attempt to capture key moments in a single event, say King Kong climbing a building, or robbers holding up a bank, or even something as simple as, say, photographing a celebrity on the red carpet. The possibilities are limitless, but who knows? Maybe I'll discover something like that in the PlayStation 2 sequel. I'll keep you posted. The only real flaw in Photograph Boy comes at the end of the game in this strange minigame where you have to photograph Dean, whack-a-mole style. It seems hard at first until you realize you have an almost infinite amount of shots, each of which freezes time a little bit, allowing you to see where he's popping up next. I feel like I'm missing something here, but ultimately the hard truth is most likely that it's just not as fleshed out as the rest of the game. And even that's honestly a really minor complaint. Every other bit of Photograph Boy is phenomenal. Beware that depending on which version of this game you buy, it can definitely be a little pricey. But if you're like me, you'll probably find that it's worth every penny. And I don't say that often.